we're going. Okay, it does appear that Geek and I figured out how to fix Streamlabs yesterday. So, everything should be working fine. No dropped frames, no skipped frames. And we should be good. Let me open my task manager. I'm going to like having that open for streams now because it'll show me the performance and how things are running. And what percentage of the CPU I'm using. As long as I don't go above, like, 85, probably, I think I'll be okay. Anyway. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1. Oh, you thought we finished this. Well, the fact that I said we didn't probably made you think that we didn't. What's this Cup Champion plaque? Phil Cup Championship Trophy. I never actually checked these. Hercules Cup Championship Trophy. Hades Cup Championship Trophy. Odd that all of them are trophies except for the Pegasus Cup. That's weird. Anyway, today is the journal. We got a lot here. So I guess we're just starting with Sora's story. The power of Kairi's heart was what saved Sora. Oh, I guess this, like, moves forward and you only get the latest entries. So that's frustrating. Whatever. The power of Kairi's heart was what saved Sora. The strong bond between them became a light that pulled him back from the darkness. Promising Kairi that he would come back, Sora returned to Hollow Bastion to seal the final keyhole and save Riku. The keyhole was sealed, but Ansem and Riku were nowhere to be found. Ansem had left to fulfill his final plan. Sora and company followed him to a world shrouded in darkness. Destroying Ansem could restore all the worlds taken by the Heartless, but it would also mean these worlds being disconnected as they once were. Once every world was isolated, divided from the others by impassable walls, the power of darkness demolished those walls. If the walls return, travel into other worlds will no longer be possible. Sora may never see his friends again. Still, he's resolved to fight his way into the very core of darkness, where Ansem lies in wait. He believes no matter how deep the darkness, a light shines within. Wonderland. After falling through a deep hole, Sora and company arrive in Wonderland and followed a white rabbit all the way to the Queen of Hearts' castle. There they witnessed a trial in which the unreasonable queen falsely accused Alice. Angered by this injustice, Sora rushed in and challenged the queen. He and his friends found evidence proving Alice's innocence, but the queen simply accused them next and ordered her card soldiers to seize them. After fighting them off, Sora noticed that Alice had disappeared from her cage. While looking for her, he and his friends ran into the Trickmaster. They defeated the powerful monster, but Alice's whereabouts remained unknown. Hades plotted to destroy Sora and Hercules, but failed. First, Cloud failed to carry out his orders, then Cerberus was defeated. But Hades did not give up on his goal to rule the worlds as the King of Darkness. He hosted the Hades Cup to deal with Sora personally. Overcoming tough trials, Sora and company defeated Hades, who wasn't even the final boss of the cup. So, you know. Sora and his friends sought to reach the gorillas' nesting grounds, but Clayton, possessed by the Heartless, stood in their way. He abducted Jane and hunted down the gorillas. In their final showdown, Sora and company defeated Clayton and an invisible monster named Stealth Sneak. Sora finally gained Kerchak's trust and was allowed to go to the nesting grounds. Tarzan led everyone to a cavern with a mysterious keyhole. When Sora sealed it with the Keyblade, he found an unusual gummy block. Although Sora and the others couldn't find their friends, the new gummy block should help them get to another world. Sora, Donald, and Goofy said goodbye to Tarzan and the others and continued with their journey. There's not a whole ton here. Hoping to take over Agrabah, Jafar took Jasmine and the lamp with him to the Cave of Wonders. Sora and his friends followed him there, where they encountered Maleficent. They learned that Maleficent and Jafar were rounding up to 7 princesses, Jasmine being one, with the power to open the final keyhole. With Genie at his side, Jafar attacked Sora and company. Somehow they defeated him, but they could not find Jasmine. She had been abducted by someone else. They returned to Agrabah, where Aladdin freed Genie with his final mission, asked him to help Sora find Jasmine. Genie agreed and joined the party, but only as a summon. And even, like, that is one part of the Agrabah story that I never actually understood, because They specifically say that Aladdin can't go with them because that would be meddling, but Genie can, for some reason. Even though that too should be considered meddling. Whatever. Inside Monstro, Sora and his friends ran into Pinocchio and Geppetto. Pinocchio wandered off, and when Sora found him, he also found Riku. It was a strange reunion, and Riku suddenly ran off with Pinocchio. Baffled by Riku's behavior, Sora followed them. Amidst all the chaos, a Heartless attacked Pinocchio and left him lying motionless. Did it consume his heart? No way! His heart survived, and he will remain strong as long as I do my duty as his conscience. Pinocchio awakened when I called his name. Riku fled the scene, leaving Sora bewildered by the change in his friend. 100 Acre Wood. Sora was whisked away to the world of 100 Acre Wood inside a book in Merlin's house. There he met Winnie the Pooh, who said all his friends had vanished. Some of the book's pages had been torn out, taking his friends with them. Sora collected all the scattered pages and brought Pooh and his friends back together. A happy ending. Atlantica. Ariel, a princess of Atlantica, yearned to go to other worlds, but her dream could not be realized as King Triton, her father, forbade such notions. Ursula took advantage of this to coax Ariel into leading her to Triton's trident, which she then seized for herself. To atone for her mistake, Ariel went to Ursula's lair with Sora, Donald, and Goofy to retrieve the trident. Jesus, so many R's are bothering me. After her morays were defeated, moray eels, okay. Ursula used the trident's power to become a giant, but was vanquished in the end. With the trident's power, Sora found the keyhole and sealed it. Halloween Town. Jack, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, worked with Dr. Finkelstein and created a heart to control the Heartless for the Halloween festival. Oogie Boogie, plotting to use the heart to take over Halloween Town, had Lock, Shock, and Barrel steal it. When Sora and company arrived at his manor, Oogie Boogie tried to summon a swarm of Heartless with the heart, but failed. Evidently, the heart was incomplete. After Sora and his friends defeated him, Oogie Boogie turned into a giant monster, becoming one with his manor. However, he was beaten yet again and disappeared along with the manor. Sora sealed the keyhole in Halloween Town. Neverland. Sora and company trapped inside Hook's ship searched for Kairi and Wendy, who were locked away somewhere below deck. When they found them, they learned that something was wrong with Kairi. She remained dormant, as if she had lost her heart. Just when Sora thought Kairi was within reach, Riku snatched her away. Sora and the others pursued them to the main deck, where Hook and his men waited. With Peter Pan's help, they defeated the pirates, but Riku and Kairi were nowhere to be found. For now, Sora could only hope to see her again. When he sealed the keyhole at the clock tower, Sora found a gummy block. Will he be able to find Kairi again with this new block? With Tinkerbell now in the party, Sora and his friends continued with their journey. And that's the Chronicles. Chronicles are completed. Yay. Ansem's report. This is interesting. The Ansem's report, if I remember right, is like really interesting. So let's get down to it. Much of my life has been dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. That knowledge has guarded this world well. Not a soul doubts that. I am blessed with my people's smiles and respect. But though I am called a sage, there are things I do not understand. I believe darkness sleeps in every heart, no matter how pure. Given the chance, the smallest drop can spread and swallow the heart. I have witnessed it many times. Darkness. Darkness of the heart. How is it born? How does it come to affect us so? As ruler of this world, I must find the answers. I must find them before the world is lost to those taken by the darkness. It is my duty to expose what this darkness really is. I shall conduct the following experiments. Extract the darkness from a person's heart. Cultivate darkness in a pure heart. Both suppress and amplify the darkness within. The experiments caused the test subjects' hearts to collapse, including those of the most stalwart. How fragile our hearts are. My treatments produced no signs of recovery. I confined those who had completely lost their hearts beneath the castle. Sometime later, I went below and was greeted by the strangest sight. Creatures that seemed born of darkness. What are they? Are they truly sentient beings? Could they be the shadows of those who lost their hearts in my experiments? The shadows that crawl beneath the castle. Are they the people who lost their hearts? Or incarnations of darkness? or something entirely beyond imagination? All my knowledge has provided no answer. One thing I am sure of is that they are entirely devoid of emotion. Perhaps further study will unlock the mysteries of the heart. Fortunately, there is no shortage. There is no shortage of test samples. They are multiplying underground even as I write this report. They still need a name. Those who lack hearts. I will call them the Heartless. The Heartless appear in groups and are multiplying rapidly. I've provided them both living and non-living samples. They've responded only to the living. They seem to multiply after absorbing something from the living creatures. Their prey vanishes without a trace. I believe the Heartless are taking hearts. They are born from those who've lost their hearts, and thrive on hearts seized from others. The hearts taken by the Heartless become heartless themselves. Though I lack proof, I am confident in this hypothesis. I must also study their behavioral principles. Though they lack emotions, they do seem to have some intelligence. How to communicate with them? It's just occurred to me. Could they be the darkness in people's hearts? To study heartless behavior, I picked one out for observation. It wiggled its antennae and, as if sensing a target, headed deep into the castle. In the deepest part of the castle, its antennae began vibrating as if searching for something. Suddenly, a strange door appeared. I'd never known of its existence. It had a large keyhole, but didn't seem to be locked. So I opened the door. What I saw on the other side mystified me. What was that powerful mass of energy? That night, I observed a great meteor shower in the sky. Could it be related to the door that I have opened? A massive core of energy lay beyond the door sought by the Heartless. It may well be the ultimate goal of all Heartless. But what is that energy? I have devised a hypothesis, based upon my observations of the Heartless. The Heartless feed on others' hearts, and they yearn for that energy core. That thing beyond the door must be a heart, too, the heart of this world. There is no proof, but having felt that immense energy, I am certain that was the heart of the world. The Heartless are trying to take hearts not only from all living creatures, but from the world itself. But what do they mean to do with the heart of the world? I am now studying material from the meteors that rained down that fateful night. What a find! The material is foreign to our world. It is elastic to the touch, and when two pieces are combined, they bond easily. None of the records I've scoured even mention such a substance. Was it introduced to this world when I opened that door? I wonder how many other such materials drift through the atmosphere of this tiny world. I wish I could soar off and find out. Could there be uncharted worlds up there? My curiosity never ceases to grow, but I should stop speaking of such unrealistic dreams. For now, there is no way to venture outside this world. My people and I are all but prisoners of this tiny place. There is no doubt that the Heartless are deeply connected to people's hearts. Further study may unravel both their motivations and the mysteries shrouding the heart. As a start, I have built a device that artificially creates Heartless. By recreating the conditions that spawn the Heartless naturally, I should be able to produce them artificially. This device is the culmination of all my research thus far. The machine's test run successfully created a Heartless. This may be a step toward creating a heart from nothing. The artificially and naturally created Heartless showed nearly identical traits, but the two types should remain distinct for the purposes of this experiment, so I will mark the ones that are created artificially. Supposedly, that means that all the Heartless that have, like, the Heartless symbol are created artificially, so they would be, like, the shadows, and other Heartless like those ones are the ones that are created naturally. Simply astonishing! Today I had a guest from another world. He is a king, and his vessel is built of the material that composed the meteors. He called the pieces gummy blocks. It seems that my opening that door has opened a path to interworld travel. We talked for countless hours, but one story in particular caught my interest. That of a key called the Keyblade. The Keyblade is said to hold phenomenal power. One legend says its wielder saved the world, while another says that he wrought chaos and ruin upon it. I must know what this Keyblade is. A key opens doors. It must be connected to the door that I have opened. This is the last Ansem report from the original game. Just as people have hearts, so do worlds. The same can be said of the stars in the night sky. And deep within each world lies a door to its heart. The heartless desire those hearts. Born out of the darkness in people's hearts, they seek a return to a greater heart. Yes, that's it. The heartless come from people's hearts, as does the darkness. Is the core of the world's heart the world of the heartless? I will pursue the answer there and become all-knowing. My path is set. I shall seek out the wielder of the Keyblade and the princesses. My body is too frail for such a journey, but I must do this. I will cast it off and plunge into the depths of darkness. And then 11, 12, and 13, which you get from super bosses, from the 3 super bosses that aren't in the Colosseum. Yeah, I think so. Actually, wait, does one of them come from Sephiroth? I think one might. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't think you get one from the Phantom. I think it's Kurt, Ziza, Sephiroth, and Enigmatic Man. Anyway. Opening the door to a world's heart causes its walls to crumble. These fragments are seen as shooting stars. This explains why these gummy blocks can travel freely to other worlds. I know the catalyst of this collapse, the appearance of the Heartless. However, it will take time to search out the world's doors and to retrieve each heart. Furthermore, the doors can be locked using a Keyblade, making the heart forever unattainable. I must take action before the wielder of this key appears in this world. If the princesses and the Keyblade are connected, they should resonate. I've chosen a girl. I don't know if she holds the princess's powers, but I will find out. May she lead me to the Keybearer. She may lead me to the Keybearer. I shall set her free and observe. That's Kairi. That's how Kairi ended up from Hollow Bastion to Destiny Islands. The body is gone. The heart should have returned to the Heartless. And yet, nothing. This one is unlike any other. Its memories remain, and it has yet to take the form of a Heartless. A close eye must be kept on the situation. Much is still unknown. To get to the realm of darkness, one must go through the doors of Kingdom Hearts, the place where the world's hearts connect. Beyond this world is a place in which darkness reigns. Details shall be archived in a separate report. There are many worlds in existence, some of which we know nothing about. The world in which we live, the realm of darkness, the realm of light, and the world in between. Wherein lies true nirvana? Where does the body go when it separates from the heart? If the soul remains within the body, is it still considered to be deceased? When the heart returns to the Heartless, the physical form disappears. But that is merely true in this world. Perhaps the body exists in another form in another world. If that is the case, then it is possible for one to exist in 2 worlds. A being that is neither darkness nor light, belonging nowhere, abandoned by its heart, a mere shell of its former self. The relation between the heart and the body is complex. However, I am certain that if your self exists here, then by definition, the other cannot truly exist. The other, the one which does not exist, shall be dubbed Nobody. And that is a precursor for Kingdom Hearts 2. This is going to be the long one, because we've got a lot of characters. Sora, the one who fights the Heartless. Upon reclaiming the Keyblade from his rival Riku, Sora sacrificed his heart to free Kairi and became a Heartless. Kairi's deep feelings for Sora restored him. Now he must confront Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness. Riku. When Kairi lost her heart, Riku allied himself with Maleficent to save her. Riku was actually the rightful master of the Keyblade, but once he chose darkness over light, the weapon chose Sora instead. Ansem exploited Riku's weakness of heart and possessed him. Kairi. Kairi, Sora, and Riku always hung out together. When their island vanished, Kairi lost her heart. It turned out that it was hidden within Sora's. As one of the princesses with the power to unlock the secret keyhole, Kairi restored Sora's heart when he was turned into a Heartless. Mickey Mouse. King of Disney Castle, he set out to learn more about the darkness and left instructions for Donald and Goofy to find and follow the Keybearer. No one knows where King Mickey is now, but they are determined to find him. He made his debut in Steamboat Willie, 1928. Donald Duck. Royal magician, skilled in magic but short-tempered and stubborn. Because Mickey said to follow the key-bearer, he once left Sora to follow Riku, but friendship soon led him back to Sora. Donald made his screen debut in The Wise Little Hen, 1934. Goofy. Captain of the Royal Knights, he avoids fighting whenever possible. Mickey's most loyal subject. Because Mickey said to follow the key-bearer, he once left Sora to follow Riku, but friendship soon led him back to Sora. He avoids fighting whenever possible. I did not know that. That's interesting. Especially because of how powerful he really is. Goofy made his first screen appearance in Mickey's Revue. I don't know how to pronounce that. 1932. Minnie Mouse. Queen of Disney Castle, ruling in Mickey's absence. I, Jiminy Cricket, am accompanying Donald and Goofy as the royal chronicler at her request. Queen Minnie is more concerned than anyone about the king's disappearance. Minnie made her screen debut in Steamboat Willie, 1928. Daisy Duck. Donald's sweetheart. She's helping Minnie while the others look for King Mickey. She has Donald under her thumb and does a good job of keeping him in line. She originally appeared as Daisy in Mr. Duck Steps Out, 1940. Pluto. Mickey's faithful dog. Pluto is more than a pet. He and Mickey are bound by the strong ties of loyalty. Pluto set out with the others to find his master. Will that famous nose of his lead him to King Mickey? Pluto originally appeared in The Chain Gang, 1930. Chip. One of the Kingdom's specialists, helps maintain the gummy ship, which can travel to any destination. Chip is more serious and diligent than his easygoing, playful partner, Dale. Chip and Dale's first appearance was in Private Pluto, 1943. Dale. One of the Kingdom's specialists, helps maintain the gummy ship, which can travel to any destination. Compared to the more serious Chip, he takes a happy-go-lucky approach to life. Chip and Dale's first appearance was in Private Pluto, 1943. Huey. One of Donald's three nephews. Huey is the leader, and he keeps playful Dewey and laid-back Louie in line. You can spot Huey by his trademark red cap. Huey began tormenting his Uncle Donald in Donald's Nephews, 1938. Dewey, one of Donald's three nephews, always wears a blue cap, cheerful and easygoing. He works with his brothers in a shop in Traverse Town. Dewey began tormenting his Uncle Donald in Donald's Nephews, 1938. Louie, one of Donald's three nephews, works with his brothers in a shop in Traverse Town. Gentle and carefree, but notices a lot of things others miss. To find him, look for a green cap. Blah, blah, blah. Merlin. A great sorcerer living on the outskirts of Traverse Town. Merlin's wisdom and magic powers rank second to none, and he teaches Sora and his friends about magic. He has a mysterious bag that can hold anything, no matter how large. Merlin first tutored Arthur in How to Be a King in The Sword in the Stone, 1963. Fairy Godmother. A powerful but generous and good-hearted fairy who helps Sora and his friends. Slightly absent-minded, but an expert at magic. She gives Sora and the others lessons in magic as well as advice on their journey. She first appeared as Cinderella's fairy godmother in Cinderella in 1950. Pongo. A brave and intelligent Dalmatian. With his mate Perdita, he looks after 99 Dalmatian puppies. Quick-witted, Pongo is an expert at escaping from tight spots. Pongo was first spotted on screen in 101 Dalmatians, 1961. Perdita, a beautiful Dalmatian. With her partner Pongo takes care of 99 Dalmatian puppies, Perdita will brave any danger to protect her spotted charges. First spotted on screen in 101 Dalmatians, 1961. 99 puppies. Pongo and Perdita's puppies. When they work together, they can be tough to beat. Ever since their world was destroyed by darkness, they have been trying to get back together again. 101 Dalmatians, 1961. Brooms. Enchanted brooms with a life of their own. They tidy up, maintain the gunny ship, and do house repairs, wait on others, just about anything useful. They swept onto the screen in Fantasia, 1940. Leon. Leon, a swordsman who wields the gunblade. His real name, Squall Leonhart. He escaped to Traverse Town when the Heartless raided his homeworld. To part with his old self, a man who had been helpless to stop them, he changed his name since meeting the king who has been so vigilant against the Heartless. Leon has sought the truth behind the key. Final Fantasy VIII. Yuffie, a female ninja who escaped to Traverse Town when her home was taken by the Heartless. She stays strong and cheerful in any situation. She works with Leon and Aerith to unravel the secret of the key. Final Fantasy VII. Aerith. She lost her home to the Heartless at a very young age. Beneath her gentle disposition lies a strong will and a firm sense of duty. Many are naturally drawn to her. Aerith works with Leon and Yuffie to learn more about the Heartless and the Key. Final Fantasy VII. Cloud, a fighter hired by Hades to compete in the Colosseum. Despite his association with Hades, his heart remains untouched by the Heartless. Cloud keeps very much to himself, which makes him something of an enigma. What is he seeking? Final Fantasy VII. Sephiroth. Once known as the greatest of swordsmen, his whereabouts have been unknown for some time. He challenged Sora to a one-on-one duel. No one knows why he has suddenly returned. Apparently he and Cloud have crossed paths before. Final Fantasy VII. I really should play Final Fantasy games. Cid, owner of an accessory shop in Traverse Town, a highly skilled engineer and first-rate pilot. When the Heartless invaded his world, he escaped to Traverse Town on a gummy ship he'd built himself. He is an expert on gummy ships. Final Fantasy VII. Isn't Cid from, like, all the Final Fantasy games, though? She's just, like, the name is from all the games and he has a different appearance each time? Maybe that appearance is similar to Final Fantasy VII, I don't know. Tidus, a cheerful, self-confident boy who lived on the Destiny Islands. He considers himself a champ at everything. Nobody knows what happened to him after his island disappeared. Final Fantasy X. Selphie, a spunky girl who lived on the Destiny Islands. She is rather impulsive and quite the romanticist. Nobody knows what happened to her after her island disappeared. Final Fantasy VIII. Wakka, a boy who lived on the Destiny Islands. He looks out for Tidus and Selphie like a big brother. Nobody knows what happened to him after his island disappeared. Final Fantasy X. Moogles escaped to Traverse Town when the Heartless invaded their home. They know how to combine various items to form new ones. Many Final Fantasies. Snow White, a beautiful princess gentle and pure as snow. She is one of the princesses needed to open the final keyhole and was captured by the Heartless. Her world has already been swallowed by the darkness. The fair-skinned princess first appeared in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937. Cinderella, a hard-working young girl who's often bullied by her stepmother and stepsisters. She is one of the princesses needed to open the final keyhole and was captured by the Heartless. Her world has already been destroyed. Prince Charming first swept her away in Cinderella in 1950. Aurora, a young woman with a lovely voice. She is loved by three good fairies and cursed by Maleficent. The sorceress captured Aurora to help open the final keyhole. She had her first encounter with Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty, 1959. Belle, a brave and intelligent young woman who understands the beast's true nature. She's one of the 7 princesses needed to open the final keyhole. She and the beast have lost their world to the darkness. She appeared at the Beast's castle for the first time in Beauty and the Beast, 1991. Beast, a prince who was changed into a hideous beast because of his selfish heart. Belle has helped heal the loneliness he suffered due to his ugliness. To save Belle, he made his way to Hollow Bastion alone. He was first enchanted by Belle in Beauty and the Beast, 1991. Maleficent, a sorceress of awesome power. She tried to use the Heartless for her own evil ends, but the Heartless were actually using her. She turned into a huge dragon when cornered by Sora and his friends. She first appeared to curse Aurora in Sleeping Beauty, 1959. Dragon. Maleficent became a huge dragon when the Keyblade released the darkness in her heart. The dragon wielded both Maleficent's power and the terrible forces of darkness. Maleficent's powerful alter ego first appeared in Sleeping Beauty, 1959. Ansem. As a researcher and ruler of his world, he studied the Heartless and delved into the many secrets of the worlds. While studying the heart and the darkness within it, he was possessed by darkness and ultimately destroyed his own world. He sacrificed his body to attain great power, and later possessed Riku's to regain a physical presence. Failure to stop him means the end of all worlds. Unknown, a mysterious figure who appeared in Hollow Bastion. Enigmatic man. Okay. This is longer. Dumbo! A baby circus elephant, he was taunted because of his huge ears, but his talent for flying made him the star of the circus. Ascend with circle button, descend with square button, hold the triangle button for slash attack, cost 3 MP. First flew on screen in Dumbo, 1941. Bambi, a young deer, son of the great stag who rules the forest. He prances around and gives you items. The more foes Sora defeats, the better the items become. The type of items he gives varies depending on the area, cost 1 MP. The Forest Prince was born in Bambi, 1941. That would explain why I haven't seen Bambi. It's one of Disney's older famous movies. I'm not the biggest fan of older movies. I like a lot of the Disney's 90s movies. I'm just not a fan of older movies in general. Mushu, one of the guardian spirits of an ancient clan. He was banished by the other guardians because of his foolish ways. Though small, he has the power of a great dragon. Press triangle button for fire breath attack, cost 3 MP. The ancient dragon heated things up in Mulan, 1998. Simba, leader of the Pride. He rules over the other animals of the Pride lands, his Savannah Kingdom. Hold down triangle button to charge the power. When the command changes to Proud Roar, release the button to unleash the attack. Hold the button down longer for more power, cost 2 MP. He roared onto the scene in The Lion King, 1994. Alice fell down a rabbit hole into Wonderland, arrested on suspicion of trying to steal the Queen's heart. Sora and his friends proved her innocence, but the Heartless captured her as part of their plan to open the final keyhole. She fell down the rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland, 1951. Queen of Hearts, a queen of Wonderland who lives in a castle with decks and decks of card soldiers. Selfish and short-tempered, she beheads anyone who crosses her. She thinks Alice tried to steal her heart. She struck terror in our hearts in Alice in Wonderland, 1951. Cards, Hearts, spear-carrying guards who serve the Queen of Hearts. They fear the short-tempered queen and are careful not to irritate her. Marched on the scene in Alice in Wonderland, 1951. Spades, troops with heavy axes who serve the Queen of Hearts. If you are short-tempered queen, you're careful not to irritate her. Alice in Wonderland. Oh, only hearts and spades? Okay. I guess that makes sense. White Rabbit, loyal servant to the Queen of Hearts. He led Sora and his friends to the Queen of Hearts castle. He wasn't late for his appearance in Alice in Wonderland, 1951. Cheshire Cat, a mysterious grinning cat who talks in riddles and can appear and disappear at will. He loves to mislead and confuse. He entered with a big smile in Alice in Wonderland, 1951. Doorknob, a talking doorknob to the door to Wonderland. To enter, you must turn him, and one good turn deserves another, as he would say. Doorknob was the only character in Alice in Wonderland 1951 who didn't first appear in the original story. Interesting. That's actually a very interesting factoid. Hercules, a legendary hero with godlike strength. He is the son of gods Zeus and Hera, only in the Disney movie, but not a god himself. The people regard Hercules as a true hero. He went from zero to hero in Hercules, 1997. I don't know. I don't remember how to pronounce that. Philoctetes? I don't know. Phil. It's Phil. Phil the Satyr is a veteran trainer of heroes and Herc's mentor. These days he's very busy running the Colosseum and choosing competitors suitable for the games. He came out of retirement in Hercules, 1997. Hades, Lord of the Underworld. He's using the Heartless to try to take over the world. Hades wants Herc and Sora out of the way, but all his schemes against Sora and the others seem to end in failure. He heated things up in Hercules, 1997. Cerberus, guardian of the entrance to the underworld and Hades' loyal servant. Herc defeated him once, but Hades has brought him back to fight Sora and his friends. He's first stood watch for Hades in Hercules, 1997. Rock Titan, immortal giant in the form of a stone crag. He has 2 heads, but can only think with one at a time. Defeated once by Hercules, he's now on... Sorry. He is now on the loose again, courtesy of Hades. He shook the scene in Hercules, 1997. Ice Titan. Defeated once by Hercules, he received new powers from Hades and resurfaced. His body is made of large blocks of seemingly impregnable ice, but the ice shaping his face is quite fragile. Naturally, he is weak against fire. He shook the scene in Hercules, 1997. Tarzan. A young man raised from infancy by gorillas. His gorilla mother is Kala. Tarzan spoke only the language of the apes until he met Jane. Since then, he's learning to speak English at an astonishing rate. He swung onto the screen in Tarzan, 1999. Jane Porter, a naturalist who's in the jungle with Clayton, her guide to study gorillas. She met Tarzan in the jungle and is gradually teaching him about human ways. She's courageous and will face any danger for her research. Exploring the jungle, she encountered Tarzan, 1999. Clayton, a veteran hunter, Jane's guide on her expedition to the jungle. He thinks of animals only as prey. His lust for power and the darkness in the heart attracted the Heartless, and they used him for their own evil purposes. He first set his sights on the apes in Tarzan, 1999. Turk. A young female gorilla, not that you can tell from the voice. Add a category for stream, the 1.5, 2.5 HD remix category. I don't know what you mean by category. I really don't. I thought it was set to the game I was playing was 1 and 2.5 remix. Oh well. Tarzan's close friend, she's protective of the other young gorillas and acts as their leader. Unlike the other gorillas, her curiosity about humans is greater than her fear of them. Up to monkey business in Tarzan 1999. Kerchak, boss of the gorilla pack, he was against letting Tarzan join the group, but Kala's resolve won him over. Kerchak worries that Tarzan's contact with people will bring danger to the gorilla community. Blah blah blah. Kala, the gorilla who found Tarzan in the jungle, she's always helped and defended him, even when he was scorned by the others. Kala is not happy about Tarzan's contact with people, but she knows it's important to him. Sabor, leopard feared by all who live in the jungle, and an enemy of Tarzan and the gorillas. Sabor is a cunning hunter who targets the weak and helpless. Aladdin. A young man living in Agrabah. He helped Sora defeat Jafar and used his last wish to release Genie from the lamp. Aladdin asked Sora and his friends to help save Jasmine, who has been abducted. He stole the scene in Aladdin, 1992. Okay. Genie, the spirit of the magic lamp who has been freed by Aladdin. With his third wish, Genie has joined forces... Who is freed by Aladdin with his third wish. Genie has joined forces with Sora and his friends to rescue Jasmine from captivity. He will attack all locked-on targets with Showtime, cost 2 MP. He granted our wish by appearing in Aladdin, 1992. Jasmine, spirited princess of Agrabah, longing for life of freedom, she slipped away from the palace and encountered Aladdin, who she quickly grew fond of. As one of the princesses with the power to open the keyhole, she was abducted by Jafar and the Heartless, appeared in Aladdin, 1992. Jafar, the vizier of Agrabah, he joined forces with Maleficent and tried to control the Heartless. He gained control of the lamp and became a powerful genie, but was defeated by Sora and his friends. I thought it was already set with the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.5 remix category. I didn't realize that it wasn't. My bad, it's fixed now. I was pretty sure I had done that when I first did my stream, back when I did the 24-hour stream. I guess I must have, either it got removed or I didn't do it properly or something, I don't know. Whatever, it's there now. Jafar Genie, with his last wish, he became an all-powerful genie himself, but he forgot that all genies share the same fate, to serve whoever controls their lamp. In the end, his lamp became his prison. Abu. Aladdin's faithful furry sidekick. Abu's size and ability made him valuable in tight spots. He's got a weakness for jewels and treasure, and when he's around them, he can't think of anything else. Iago, Jafar's cunning, crotchety parrot. He's Jafar's eyes and ears as he flies around Agrabah, spying on his master's enemies. Iago takes after Jafar with a penchant for intrigue and evil. Carpet, a magical flying carpet loyal to Aladdin. Carpet can carry passengers over the vastness of the desert at great speed. The Heartless had Carpet pinned to the floor under a chest. That could be exactly what it is. It might have removed it because I didn't have it set on Streamlabs. That's entirely possible. Pinocchio! Crafted by Geppetto and brought to life by the Blue Fairy, he'd have lost his heart to the Heartless if I hadn't come to the rescue. Now he's living in Traverse Town with Geppetto and working hard to become a real boy. There were no strings to hold him down in Pinocchio, 1940. Geppetto, the kind, gentle clockmaker. Sora and his friends helped him escape from Monstro's belly, and these days he's living in Traverse Town and looking forward to the day Pinocchio becomes a real boy. He provided shelter in Pinocchio, 1940. Jiminy Cricket, that's me! The cricket who keeps Pinocchio to the straight and narrow. I'm along on the quest as Royal Chronicler. Look for me in Pinocchio, 1940. Ariel, Triton's youngest daughter. Ursula tricked her into helping steal his trident. With help from Sora and the others, all was put right. Still, she'll never stop dreaming of exploring the world outside her father's palace. Her voice enchanted us in Little Mermaid, 1989. King Triton, king of Atlantica, who is backed by the power of his trident. He has forbidden Ariel to have any contact with outsiders, which only led to her yearn to grow even stronger. I'm confused. The wording of that sentence has me confused as to what it meant, but that's okay. He ruled the seas in Little Mermaid 1989. Ursula, she deceived Ariel and stole the trident to take over Atlantica. Using its power, she became an enormous monster and battled Sora, Goofy, and Donald. She appeared in The Little Mermaid 1989. Sebastian, Triton's concert master, a musical genius, the little crab is also responsible for keeping an eye on Ariel to ensure her safety. Whenever she leaves the palace, he's on pins and needles. Conducted himself in The Little Mermaid 1989. Flounder. Ariel's trusted friend, Flounder will do anything for her. He's small and not exactly brave, but he'll never leave Ariel's side, even when it means facing danger. Also, is the chat box not on stream? I guess not. Where? Interesting. Are we back up? Yeah, sorry about that. I went to check settings, and I guess opening the settings while being on stream literally killed the stream. So, you know, that's fun. Anyway. I'm pretty sure I read this, so I'm gonna say I did, because I don't feel like it. Jetsam and Flotsam. Cool. Jetsam, Ursula's lackey along with Flotsam. An evil moray eel, Jetsam is a smooth talker who loves to deceive. His specialty is using empty promises to lure unsuspecting mermen and mermaids into Ursula's clutches. He ran in interference for Ursula in The Little Mermaid 1989. Flotsam. Ursula's lackey along with Jetsam, an evil moray eel. Flotsam is a smooth talker. Oh, okay. Exactly the same. Just... okay, cool. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I'm sure I'll figure it out as time passes. Jack oh, and the chat box actually showed up this time! Cool! Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King. He loves to scare people out of their wits. Headstrong, confident, and likes grand gestures. Now he's working night and day to make this year's Halloween festival the greatest ever. He's scared up some fun in Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Sally. Dr. Finkelstein's creation, she's patched together from parts that sometimes come off and move about on their own. She loves Jack and tries to steer him in the right direction, though it doesn't always work. Cheering in Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Oogie Boogie, the villain who tried to take over Halloween Town. The heart he stole from Dr. Finkelstein attracted the Heartless, and the result was his doom. He came apart at the seams in Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Dr. Finkelstein, the mad scientist who created a heart to help Jack control the Heartless, is dancing. Sally is another of his creations. She helps him around the lab, but she'd much rather spend time with Jack. Created some scares in Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Zero. Jack's ghost dog. He comes out of his grave whenever Jack calls. He's very loyal to his master and loves it when Jack plays with him. He loyally followed Jack in Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Locke, ringleader of the trio that includes Shock and Barrel. Their walking bathtub helps them get around while they commit all kinds of mischief. They sometimes help Oogie, but they're not really fond of him. Created havoc in Nightmare Before Christmas, blah blah blah. Shock, along with Locke and Barrel, she's part of Oogie's plot to take over Halloween Town. Shock is the most cunning member of the trio. Keeps her cool when the other two are losing it, blah blah blah. Barrel, a member of the trio that includes Locke and Shock, he's a little slow and often ends up as the butt of his partner's pranks and practical jokes. The mayor. The two-faced mayor of Halloween Town, who switches from his happy face to his sad face depending on his mood, which changes constantly. He's working with Jack to make this year's festival the best ever. Peter Pan. The flying boy from Neverland where no one ever grows up. He can be stubborn, but he's also fearless and has a strong sense of justice. He snuck on board Hook's ship to rescue Wendy, who was kidnapped. He led the Lost Boys in Peter Pan, 1953, another old movie that I don't care for. Tinkerbell, the little pixie from Neverland. Peter Pan asks her to accompany Sora and friends on their quest, but she's anxious to see Peter. She can restore party's HP and prevent Sora from being defeated, though only once. Cost 3 MP. She made us believe in fairies in Peter Pan, 1953. Wendy, a dreaming girl whose wish to visit Neverland came true. Peter Pan showed her the way, but she got caught up in Hook's vendetta against Peter and was kidnapped by Hook. She watched over the Lost Boys in Peter Pan, 1953. Captain Hook, the pirate with a grudge against Peter Pan who caused him to lose his hand to the crocodile. He threw his lot in with Maleficent and the Heartless, but ended up being chased over the horizon by the crocodile. Hook Us in Peter Pan, 1953. Mr. Smee, Hook's first mate. He lives to take orders from Hook, but he's as slow-witted as Hook is obnoxious. Crocodile, a seagoing reptile big enough to swallow a man whole, and he's always hungry. He got a taste of Hook once and never forgot it. Hook can tell he's near by the sound of his clock ticking away in his stomach. Had a taste for Captain Hook and Peter Pan, 1953. Winnie the Pooh, a little bear living in the 100-acre wood. His favorite food is honey. Being a bear of very little brain, he's a bit absent-minded. Sometimes he even forgets what he was trying to remember. He warmed up the screen in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. Piglet, Pooh's best friend in the 100-acre wood. Tiny, timid Piglet is startled by just about anything. When that happens, he covers his eyes with his floppy ears. He appeared on a Wednesday in Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, 1968. Tigger loves to bounce more than anything. Sometimes his bouncing gets out of hand, but he doesn't mean any harm. Beneath that happy-go-lucky exterior beats a sensitive, gentle heart. He bounced onto the screen in Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, 1968. Owl, the wisest resident of the 100-acre wood. Whenever anyone has a question he can't answer, he asks Owl. Though Owl isn't always right. Owl likes to talk, but sometimes he puts his listeners to sleep. He showed us the wisdom of his ways in Winnie Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. Rabbit. Rabbit is an earnest, hard-working member of the 100-acre wood community. He keeps to himself, but lends a hand when others need him. He's not always comfortable around the exuberant Tigger. He appeared in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. Eeyore. Timid, retiring Eeyore lives in a little house in the roots of a tree. His tail is held on by a tack, but it keeps falling off and getting lost. Now he's wandering the woods looking for a new home. He reluctantly appeared in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. Roo dreams of bouncing as well as Tigger someday. He's mischievous, energetic, and fearless, but grows uneasy when Tigger is not around. He hopped onto the screen in Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, 1966. So Roo existed before Tigger? But Roo is like 2 years before Tigger, but then he grows uneasy when Tigger's not around. So he was uneasy for 2 years? And 8 pages of Heartless, too. Yay. Shadow. Heartless that emerge from various places. They sneak up to their enemies and strike them with sharp claws. They are extremely tenacious, often chasing their prey to the end. I've defeated 1,316. Giga Shadow. A large Heartless similar to a Shadow. Like its predecessor, it's quite persistent and will chase its target around. If it just does the littlest amount of damage to Sora, it will fade out of sheer happiness. That's so funny. Defeated 26. Soldier. Heartless that emerge from various places. They are brisk in their movements and rush into their opponents. However, they are not that tenacious. They often appear in numbers, though they lack teamwork. 246 defeated. Stealth Soldier. A stealthy Heartless similar in appearance to a soldier. It appears alongside other Heartless and deals attacks from afar. Although a troublesome enemy, it shows itself once its weakness is uncovered. I've defeated 8 of them. Also, they suck. I hate them. Large Body. A big round Heartless. They seem tame and laid back, but go berserk when they are angered. With their brute strength, they can inflict great damage, so be on your guard. 248. Red Nocturne. Spellcasting Heartless. While hovering about, they attack by casting fire. Having low HP, they keep their distance from their opponents, making them difficult to attack. They absorb fire attacks. 290. Blue Rhapsody. Spellcasting Heartless. Approach your enemies by bouncing about and attack with Blizzard. Also absorb Blizzard attacks. 358 defeated. Yellow Opera. Spellcasting Heartless. Besides attacking with Thunder, they hurl themselves against their enemies. They absorb Thunder attacks. 432 defeated. Green Requiem. Spellcasting Heartless. They heal themselves and other Heartless with Cure, but they are slow-moving but hover high in the air and absorb most magic attacks. 210. Black Ballad. A Heartless that confuses its enemy by creating projections of itself. If the copies are attacked, it will resort to counterattacks and eventually run away. However, if it is attacked directly and relentlessly... 5 defeated. I hate Black Ballad a lot, too. Power Wild. Heartless resembling a monkey. With great physical strength and agility, they often strike with combination attacks. Avoid close-range battles with them if possible. 426. Bouncy Wild. Heartless resembling a monkey. Unlike Power Wilds, they attack from long range with a slingshot. They scamper about during battle, making them difficult to hit. Defeat of 38. Sniper Wild. A heartless resembling a monkey, it roams as it pleases, rarely paying attention to its surroundings. If Sora is spotted, it will call forth numerous allies, all armed with slingshots. 38. Air Soldier. Winged Heartless, they fly over their enemies and dive to strike them. Their high endurance and quickness make them tough to beat. 427. Bandit. Heartless that mostly appear in Agrabah. They can travel under the sand. They attack deftly with a long sword. Attack them with caution. 207. Fat Bandit. Heartless that mostly appear in Agrabah. They are well balanced offensively and defensively. Besides strong physical attack, they use fire and they block attacks against them. Their movement is their weakness. Pot Spider. Ordinary pots turned heartless. They lie in wait as ordinary pots, then reveal themselves and attack when their enemies draw near. 325. Barrel Spider. Gunpowder barrel turned heartless. They charge into their enemies and explode. Any physical impact or fire will set them off. 199. Pot Scorpion. An ordinary pot turned heartless by the power of darkness. Unlike the Pot Spider, its pot is tough as nails. A simple attack won't be enough to make it cry for mercy. It emanates poisonous fumes as it attacks its prey. Yeah, I had to defeat it 9 freaking times. Search Ghost. Heartless that mostly appear in Atlantica. They roam in dark areas and emit light from their eye to target their enemies. They can warp from one place to another. 384 defeated. Grand Ghost. A Heartless similar to the Search Ghost, often spotted within Monstro. Weapon attacks do no damage, only causing it to drop items. Approach the Phantom and use said items for a startling discovery. Sea Neon. Heartless resembling a jellyfish. They swim fast and attack in numbers. Overall, they are not tough opponents. 145. Sheltering Zone. Heartless resembling a jellyfish. You receive damage just from colliding with it. They move slow, but break up into many sea neons if struck. They fling their tentacles away to keep their enemies away. 33. Screwdriver. Heartless that acts with Aqua Tank. Unpredictable creatures dashing forward 1 minute, cowardly retreating the next. They are invigorated by the sparks from the Aqua Tank. 113. Aqua Tank. Heartless resembling a fish that calmly swim the seas. They are often carrying screwdrivers, leisurely large creatures that do not attack unless provoked. 21 defeated. White Knights. Heartless that mostly appear in Halloween Town. Their jerky dance-like attack moves are fairly easy to dodge but cause large damage. 421. Gargoyle. Winged Heartless that mostly appear in Halloween Town. They can move from one place to another almost without notice. Since they are prone to sneak attack, they often get caught off guard by counterattacks. 270. Chimera. A Heartless wandering the streets of Halloween Town. Generally a slow-paced creature, it attacks quickly and relentlessly when angered. Armed with various abilities such as summoning gargoyles, one must use this creature's own tricks against it. 3. Killed it 3 times. Pirate. Heartless that mostly appear in Neverland. They are quite combative with their swords. They often just focus on the enemies in front, making them vulnerable to attacks from behind. Defeated 245. Air Pirate. Winged Heartless that mostly appear in Neverland. They are extremely combative and are hardly ever caught off guard. They attack with martial arts-like techniques. Battleship. Heartless that fuse together with a pirate ship. They attack with homing and magic projectiles. Attack them at close range. 35. Jet Balloon. A Heartless similar to the Aqua Tank. It flies through the air with tremendous speed. Chasing it will lead to a perilous aerial battle as it unloads its missile driver attack. An attack similar to the Screwdriver. Its heinous nature attracts them to prey who carry lots of money. Defeated 5. Dark Ball. Heartless born purely out of darkness. Their movements are unpredictable as they often make sudden moves and attacks. Defender. Heartless that mostly appear in Hollow Bastion. They carry an eerie shield with a face that casts fire and blizzard and bites nearby enemies. 434. How many Dark Balls? 991 Dark Balls. Yeah, I had to grind these two a bit. Wyvern. Giant Heartless that attack from the air. They are quite swift for their size and are hard to attack, especially while they are high in the air. Counterattacking when they come down would be most effective. 180. Wizard. Heartless that attack with various powerful spells. Eludes enemy attacks by teleporting, making them tough to beat. 335. Behemoth. Immensely powerful Heartless. With their large frame, they trample enemies and repel most attacks. Damaging their weak point makes them lose consciousness. Strike them with potent attacks while they are down. 1. Destroyed Behemoth. A greater Behemoth subspecies. It has extraordinary strength unparalleled to that of the Behemoth. However, despite its appearance and size, it shares the same weaknesses as the standard archetype. This is the one that shows up in the Hades Cup in the Colosseum. 3 defeated. Arch-Behemoth, a Behemoth subspecies. Although similar in appearance to the Behemoth, it lacks their aptitude. However, it shares their strengths and weaknesses. Defeated 3. Invisible. Heartless wielding a large sword. These winged Heartless can move freely through the air. Besides their sword, they attack with their tail and wings. With their high attack power, they often defeat their foes quickly. 109. Angel Star. Flying Heartless that cast potent spells. They are born of holy spells. They attack from long range with magic. They block physical attacks with their wings, making them difficult to defeat. Neo Shadow. A Heartless that travels in packs. Combining their powers allows them to attack Sora while also healing themselves. Leaving even just one alive will result in a never-ending battle. White Mushroom. Non-attacking, friendly Heartless. They might give you an item if you help them. Defeated 73. Black Fungus. Hostile Heartless. Unlike White Mushrooms, they attack with poison. Defeating them may bring good things, but it's not easy. Defeated 61. Rare Truffle. Non-attacking Heartless that are rarely found. They like to jump, so helping them stay in the air may bring good things. Defeated 31. Pink Agaricus. A colossal Heartless called forth by euphoric white mushrooms. A dancer by nature, once it starts dancing it can't stop. Defeated 11. Darkside. Enormous Heartless that appeared in Destiny Islands with shadows. It led the shadows in the battle against Sora when he first received the Keyblade. Although Sora defeated it, the island was swallowed by the darkness. Guard Armor. Leader of the Heartless in Traverse Town. It falls apart when it receives damage, but each part attacks individually. Sora meets Donald and Goofy for the first time just before fighting this Heartless. Red Armor. A giant Heartless similar to the Guard Armor. It splits into the armored torso, gauntlets, and hammer legs, each with the ability of individual movement. Each body part can be found heading a team in the Colosseum tournament. Opposite Armor. Heartless that guards the keyhole in Traverse Town. It is a modified form of Guard Armor, but is more powerful. Trickmaster. Heartless that Sora and company encounter while they are searching for Alice. Its herky-jerky attacks and juggling act flustered Sora and the others. Stealth Sneak. Heartless that attuned to the darkness in Clayton's heart. It somehow manipulated the light to turn invisible and fought alongside Clayton. Sneak Army. A Heartless similar to, but more powerful than, the Stealth Sneak. They stay hidden and attack while nimbly darting around. Though even one is hard to handle, a pair can be found participating in the Colosseum tournament. Defeated 18. Pot Centipede. Heartless called by Jafar to stop Aladdin. Its long body is composed of a number of pot spiders linked together. Even if its body comes apart, it can regenerate itself by gathering other pots. Parasite Cage. Heartless that appeared inside Monstro. It's known to swallow its enemies. Sora and the others rescue Pinocchio, who was trapped inside of it. And then the two super bosses. Kartziza. Heartless that emerged from the keyhole opened by the princesses. It swung its 6 powerful arms to attack Sora and company and block their attacks, but Sora sought out its weakness and emerged the victor. And the Phantom. Ghost-like Heartless that haunted the clock tower standing far away from Neverland. Fluttering its eerie cloak, it cast a spell to take Sora's heart. Having no physical body, regular attacks were useless, but in the end, Sora and company discovered its weakness and prevailed. That's all the characters, and then that's just Dalmatians, Trinities, and minigames. Jungle Slider, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, wait. Green Serpent, Splash Tunnel, Jade Spiral, Panic Fall, and Shadow Cavern. I didn't know they had different names. That's cool. Vine Jump, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pooh's Honey Hunt, Walk Tigger, Pooh's Swing, Tigger's Giant Pot, Pooh's Muddy Path, and then the Phil Cup, Pegasus Cup, Hercules Cup, and Hades Cup time trials. And that's the journal. Alright. So the reason I'm here at the Colosseum is to grind things out to get Sora to level 100. And I usually would want to do that by going through the Hades Cup, so... Choose opponent. Oh, that's cool. Can you do that in the other ones too? Yeah, you can. That's actually kind of cool if you just want to fight like one dude. But enter together at the 50th seed. I'm going to go through this once, and then I'm going to end the stream. That was a lot of time going through that journal. Okay. My voice needs a rest after all that reading. Well, that's the first time I've ever actually read all the entries in the journal, so... Sorry about how much I coughed during it. Dead. It's fun being able to kill enemies so quickly.
Oh yeah!
I don't know if you had to get the full 100 juggles in order to get the rare truffle in the journal, because I did successfully do the 100 juggles one time. So it's in the journal, and I don't know if that was a requirement to get it in the journal, or if you just had to fight it. I would assume that it's a requirement, because it's probably a requirement for like the white mushrooms to get those correct, and the pink agaricus to at least like stop it and get it hit.
That's the power of the
So
Keyblade.
I would assume that it's a requirement. To do the at least some ones. I just don't know if you need the full 100 for
Nothing to it.
for the red truffle. You don't need the full 100 for the pink agaricus, because that's like the like the one item that I did not get in this game.
Take that.
This put us at a boss fight, it looks like. Which I believe is the behemoth. Yeah, the destroyed behemoth. I have noticed since I received Ultima Weapon that it attacks much faster than the other Keyblades in this game do. I didn't think that changing the Keyblade would change my speed.
Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
He's dead. That wasn't too hard.
Not bad, huh?
Come on!
Okay. And yeah, this is what I'll be doing to get to level 100. But you guys are only going to see this run. I'm not doing it in the next stream. Or in the next stream. The next stream will be Chain of Memories. As much as I don't like Chain of Memories, I am excited to be done with this game and moving on
That's
to
the power of the
another.
Keyblade!
Because I've been on this game for a while, and the other games I'll be on for a lot longer. But I got through, like, most of the story of this game in the 24-hour stream. And I've still spent like 2 weeks doing streams to get through all the side shit, so it'll be nice. Especially Chain of Memories, because I don't think there's really any side stuff in Chain of Memories. The game's not really built for that. There is Ultimate Weapon, but you pretty much have to have beaten the game in every sense to be able to guarantee you're getting Ultimate Weapon. So there's a good chance I won't even get to use the Ultimate Weapon card once I receive Gotta love how this thing gets invincible for no reason.
Heal!
It's also the type of boss enemy. Apparently there are certain boss enemies that can't be killed by Donald and Goofy. You have to get the final hit, which makes some level of sense.
See ya!
I didn't mean to use gravity.
Wind!
Oh! I still have things set up for when I fought, Enigmatic Man, I guess? Oops. Oh well. Oh good. Oh good.
We did it!
Hey, asshole. And now we should be going into another boss fight, which is probably Cerberus. Yeah. They're dead. Assuming you treat Cerberus as 3 creatures instead of just 1.
That's the power of the Keyblade.
According to something I read, apparently, Cerberus heads aren't supposed to fight. If they do, it shows anxiety. Like, aren't supposed to fight with each other. Cool. Thanks, Donald.
That's the power of the Keyblade.
Thanks, Donald. I should probably map Thunder when I'm going through this to get to level 100. The rest of the times that I go through this. Because it looks like Thunder is just an enemy destroyer.
Come on! Take that!
Cool.
Come on!
I forgot that I didn't have Blizzard now. There. Is this just that point where it can't die until its limbs are dead? I'm thinking that it just has that point.
Here! Thunder! Force!
It's over!
Come on, come on! Heal! Take that! Come on! Take that! Come on! This is it.
No, Leon's dead.
No way.
This is it. Heal. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Take that.
He's dead. Yeah, when you get to a high enough level, beating Cloud and Leon is literally just match A.
See ya. See ya.
That was easy. I'm not gonna keep doing that though. I don't have enough MP for that. Cool. Good job, Donald.
Come on.
All the dark balls
That's
are dead.
the power of the Keyblade.
I accidentally wasted an MP on gravity. Dead. I have killed a ghost.
Come on. Come on.
Okay.
Heal.
Is next up Hades? No. After this is Hades.
Come on.
Now I'm fighting Hades.
Take that. Take that.
This should
Take
help.
that.
Heal.
Hey, you having fun yet? That's it. That's it. Feel the heat.
If you guys could actually like avoid the fire, that would probably
Hey,
be
you having
helpful.
fun yet? Starting to get warmed up here. Starting to get warmed up.
See ya.
Feel the heat. Hey, you having fun yet?
See ya.
It's happening.
3,000 experience just from fighting Hades. And I think the Rock Titan gives at least that much, maybe a bit more.
That's the power of the Keyblade.
Yeah, finally. Took long enough for it to die.
Thunder! Fire!
Nope, too late. Whatever.
Not bad.
I used enough MP that Goofy gave me some, so I'm fine.
That's the power of the Keyblade.
Twin Mirage.
Come on! Come on! Come on! This is it! Come on! This should help.
And they're dead. I have killed Sneaky Heartless. I'm a monster. I'm a winner.
Come on! Come on!
Are you serious? Okay. Final battalion before Rock Titan. Wow. Okay. Now it's just the Rock Titan. Every single hit you get on this guy is another experience forever. So you get a ton of experience for that, and then 4,000 for killing him. So actually, the longer it takes to kill him, the more experience you get. Because the more hits, the more experience. That put me at level 94. Still got a ways to go, but... Let's see, I don't really like Gravity Break all that much either. Put Tech Boost on. In fact, I can turn off Encounter Plus. And probably Berserk, I don't think I'll need that. And turn on another Tech Boost. Because all I'm doing is leveling up after all. But I did want to check. I don't think I actually showed what One Winged Angel does to your stats. Let's say I had Divine Rose on, because that's the Keyblade I was using before Ultimate Weapon. One Winged Angel would lower my MP by 2 and my Strength by 5. Because it has little power, but sure, when it gets a critical, it's probably the most powerful critical, but nowhere near enough power for... But, like, that's not worthy of actually being used. And the Diamond Dust lowers the strength even more, but it ups max MP even higher than Ultimate Weapon. But yeah, I just figured I'd show those. Yeah, I think Save the Queen and Save the King are really good weapons. I guess Save the King is a good mix between the Mighty Shield and 7 Elements, because it gives you 2 more MP than the Mighty Shield, and 7 more strength than 7 Elements. But Okay. Anyway, that's the stream. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys at my next stream, which will probably be, well, not probably, which will be tomorrow morning, and it will be Chain of Memories. Goodbye.